What is up, guys? I'm running a slat design, and this design here should work with any welding table that you could be making. You may have to modify your framework a little bit to fit these slats, or slat design, or you may have to modify the slat design a little bit to fit your table. Or you may have to do both, modify your table a tad and the slat design so they coincide together. But the idea of this is to be able to have a toggle clamp underneath. You unlatch the toggle clamp, slat loosens up, you can remove it, you can re-gap them however you want, hit the toggle clamp on each slat to relock it back into place, and you're set up and you're ready to weld. So without doing anything else, come on in. We got 11 of these things to knock out. Oh, side note, if you use rectangular tube, you don't have to do this stuff. This is a total waste of your time. So fast forward ahead if you're using rectangular and start where I start adding the doodah weird junk on here. If you use C-channel or anything open bottom, to me you need a solid bottom to it so you can put a clamp through the table, turn it, and be able to clamp parts down. You have to do this step. So come on in and let's get these things started. So here's my C-channel. Here's the cap. 3/16 thick. Pick that because this measurement of the C-channel was roughly 3/16. So now it's uniform. Took the C-channel, put this taper cut on the front. The front I used 2.5 inches. So I measured in, put a mark, came down to the webbing of the C-channel, put another mark, connected the marks with the line, and hacked them off with a cutoff wheel. The back side I did the same thing, except for I went 2 inches in instead of 2.5. Gave it less of a slope and I did more of a slope. Once that was cut, I had my distance from taper to taper, took that, cut my 3/16 plate to that size. Then I took this measurement from here to here, took a 1/16 off, and took that sheet of 3/16 and started hacking these strips out. Once I had all the strips ready, I went through, wire wheeled the entire C-channel, or the inside of the C-channel on all of them, and then whatever side I was going to use as the inside of the 3/16 plate, I wire wheeled that too. Well, I actually wire wheeled the outside too. But took the inside stuff, went ahead, hit it with some rust inhibitor paint, and then top coated it with some flat black, just to hopefully hinder any rust down the road so it don't look like crap. Then went ahead and now I got this set up like this. So now we're cut up. I want to weld this to the C-channel, and I want to do it with equally spaced 1-inch welds. So, and I want to do it on both sides. So to make myself look half intelligent, I made a story stick. And a story stick is roughly my layout principles for all of them. So I took half the distance from here to here, figured it out and marked it out on the story stick. Then I knew I wanted 1-inch welds, so then I did the math, figured out what my gaps needed to be, threw that in there, then made my little weld use. Now, all you have to do, since I got 11 of them to do, is line this up with the edge, transfer your lines, and it'll give you half of one side. Then just slide it down to the opposite edge, transfer your lines, or you can line it up with the last one and transfer your lines. And then flip it over here, do the same thing on this side. And then slide it down and do the same thing. So now every single one will be kind of the same. Now, I have it clamped in one spot. It's basically centered, so there's the correct amount of overhang on the C-channel on this side as on this side. This has kind of a curve upwards, so I'm going to have to throw another clamp on here to clamp it down, and then I'll start welding. I'll do well, if I throw a clamp here, I'll probably start here. Do this one and this one. Then remove this clamp, move it down here, then hit this one. Then remove the clamp that's here, down to here, and do this one. And you'll see one side go. And then after that, we're just going to pile them up as I get them done. I'm going to do both sides. So let's get started. Need a clamp. There's my clamp. Clamp it down. Make sure nothing's moved. Nothing's moved. Looks good. Fire up the welder. Welder is on. Gas is on. Let's turn the vacuum on. There we go. I just gotta grind the welds down a little bit, make sure there's no boogers hanging on that side so it sits flat. Make sure I take a square off of here and make sure nothing hits. 10 more to go. Holy God, this is gonna take forever. Jeez. Send in the reinforcements. I don't feel like doing it no more. All of it done. It only took 2 welders. Burned one up, or I think I did. But there's no excuse. That welder's like 20 some years old. So, anyway, next thing, angle grinder. I gotta basically clean up the welds so nothing's sticking out from the edge and the top. So I'm just basically gonna round them over. Only 198 welds to do, so it may be a little while. All these fingers are ground. Now we're ready to start on the rear mounts. The rear mounts are going to be fixed. They're nothing spectacular. It's just going to be like a C or an S or a Z or whatever you want to call it. Principle is the angle that's on the back side is this. These fingers will sit on the angle like so. The angle will eventually slide in underneath there, and then you'll latch the front down, and that's going to hold it in place. So to make it work, that angle is 1/4 inch thick. So I bought 5/16 thick bar here. It's 1 inch wide. And then I bought some 1/4 inch thick bar that's 1 1/4 inch. And that's going to be the top piece, kind of just like this. This will be the 5/16. This will be the 1 1/4 inch stuff. What I'll do is the C channel is 6 inches wide. The base material, the 5/16, I'm going to cut at 5 inches. That'll give me a 1/2 inch step in on each side. That'll give me plenty of a good area to weld to. I'll put some heavy tacks across the front and then weld up the side again. The top piece, this 1 1/4 inch stuff that's 1/4 inch thick, I'm going to cut it a 1/2 inch narrower than this stuff. That'll allow me to have it set in 1/4 inch on the 5/16, and then on the front side I'm going to set it in 1/4 inch as well. That way it looks symmetrical, and that'll give me a 1/2 inch overhang over this 5/16 so it kind of latch onto the angle that's actually on the back of the table. There is 11 fingers total. The 2 outside ones are going to be different because of the actual tabletop. So I only have 9 that need to be like this. So my idea is to cut the 9, get them figured out, get them done, then I'll figure out the last 2 at a later date. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 9 pieces at 5 and 9 pieces at 4.5. So we'll go to the bandsaw and cut that. 5/16 bar stock will go something like so. Not sure how far down yet, still got to measure it out, but it goes something like so. It'll get heavy weld, and just some nice heavy tacks. The 1/4 inch piece will get something like that, where it's basically centered around. Put some heavy weld, and some nice heavy tacks. This piece of angle represents the angle back here, and when you slide the finger over it, it will hold it on like so. And this will be squared to the finger, top, whatever. So whenever you put it up against that angle back here, the insert is squared. Then, I got toggle clamps from, these came from Harbor Freight actually. Something like so. They'll get bolted to there. I'm going to use some 1/4 bolts, figure out what the measurement needs to be. I'll probably just put 2 bolts in. It don't need to be really that hardcore bolted down, but drill tap it, and then this will latch onto the front angle here. So all you have to do is flip the lever up, it'll release, pull the tabletop forward, and lift it away. And then when you do it, you shove it back in there, make sure it's underneath there, and then flop that down, and bam, it's held in place. Alright, get low on pop and about out of memory on that card, so we're going to wrap this one up here. Next one, all this crap will be attached to all these. But, subscribe if you like this type of stuff. I got plenty of more fabrication coming, a lot more mud mower stuff, and some ATV and truck stuff down the road, so subscribe. Other than that, have a good day, have a good night, and enjoy. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.